Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are heading to West Africa.
We are.
But I want to set the table properly here because we are not just doing a general top 10 things to do travel guide. We are definitely not here to sell you a package tour to a beach resort or, read you a Wikipedia page about cocoa exports.
Far from it. No, we're doing something a bit different today, something with a bit more depth.
We are digging into a very specific and I think very powerful cultural phenomenon that has absolutely exploded over the last 5 or 6 years. We are talking about the concept of the heritage flight.
It's a fascinating shift in global travel. It really is. It's not just tourism, it's sociology. We're seeing this massive influx of diaspora travelers, African Americans, Black Britons, people from the Caribbean who are heading specifically to Ghana.
Right. It's become this modern pilgrimage.
That's the perfect word for it. It's a pilgrimage.
Yeah. And looking at the source material we have today, which is, it's a stack of articles, forum discussions, a lot of economic data, and some really raw firsthand travel logs, the expectation for this trip is usually sky high.
Oh, absolutely.
You open your phone, you see the Instagram reels, you see the festivals, the fashion, the celebrities, and you think, okay, this is it. I'm going to the motherland. It's going to be spiritual. It's going to be welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also this underlying assumption, hey, it's a developing nation, so my dollars are going to go a long, long way. I'm going to live like a king on a budget.
And that is exactly where the friction starts. Because the reality of the heritage flight is often a head-on collision between that deep spiritual desire for connection and some very hard, very expensive, and frankly, very complex logistical realities.
It's what we're calling the door of no return paradox.
Yeah.
You have travelers coming for a moment that transcends logistics, standing in a dungeon where their ancestors might have stood, a moment of pure emotional weight. Yet the entire experience is completely dominated by logistics, by traffic, costs, infrastructure, sweat, and just noise.
Precisely. You come for the spirit, but you spend a lot of time wrestling with the concrete. You want that ethereal connection, but first, you have to negotiate with a taxi driver for 20 minutes.
It's the sacred versus the profane happening every single minute of the trip.
Exactly.
So here is our mission for this deep dive. We are going to move way beyond the standard checklist. We're not just going to tell you to eat jollof rice and visit a castle.
No.
We are going to build a survival guide based on the ground truth. We're going to look at the expectations versus reality gaps that catch even smart, well-traveled people completely off guard.
And we have some serious surprises in the data today. There are things in here that contradict almost every travel blog you've likely read about Ghana.
Oh, absolutely. I was looking through the notes on pricing and wow. Let's do a few teasers. Teaser number 1, the cost shock.
This is a big one.
If you think you're getting Southeast Asia prices, Thailand or Vietnam levels where you get a villa for $20, you are in for a very, very rude awakening. A mediocre hotel in Accra can, and often does, cost more than a luxury suite in Bangkok.
And that is a very hard pill for many people to swallow. They land expecting budget luxury and find New York prices for what feels like Motel 6 amenities. It's a shock to the system.
Okay, teaser number 2, the time warp. We're going to talk about Ghana man time.
Aye.
It sounds like a stereotype,
Yeah.
but the sources we have treat it as a fundamental law of physics in the region. It will absolutely destroy a Type A itinerary if you are not careful.
It will derail your entire trip if you try to fight it.
And we'll touch on the contrarian surprises too, like how the food scene is basically a competitive sport, which I love.
It really is.
And why the year of return hype has actually, in some ways, made things more expensive and harder, not easier, for the independent traveler.
It's a classic case of success creating new challenges.
So let's unpack this. We've got a lot to get through. Let's start with the context. Why Ghana? And why now? Because 20 years ago, this wasn't the #1 destination for this demographic.
It really wasn't. To understand the now, you have to go back to 2019. That was the year of return.
This was the Kemen Initiative, right?
Correct. It was a very specific, very deliberate policy designed to mark the 400th anniversary of the first enslaved Africans arriving in Virginia in 1619.
Wow.
But it wasn't just a commemorative plaque or a museum exhibit. This was a full-blown, aggressive, and frankly brilliant marketing campaign inviting the global diaspora to come home.
And looking at the numbers we've got, it worked. It wasn't just a slogan. It really, really worked.
It was a masterclass in tourism strategy. It exploded the numbers. The government eased visa restrictions temporarily, which was huge. Then celebrities started showing up, Idris Elba, Cardi B, Naomi Campbell, folks like that. And they were posting about it constantly.
So it got the social media engine running.
It poured jet fuel on it. And the airlines took notice immediately. Before 2019, getting to Accra often meant a layover in Europe. You'd have to go through Frankfurt or Amsterdam.
Right, a real pain.
Now you have robust direct connectivity. Delta from JFK, United from Dulles, British Airways from Heathrow. It's so much more accessible.
So it became the gateway.
Exactly. It's English speaking, which is a huge factor compared to, say, Senegal or Côte d'Ivoire. It's accessible, and it has successfully positioned itself as the spiritual center of the modern Black Atlantic.
But this is where we get into the disconnect. We have the curated image versus the ground truth.
This is the core of the issue.
This is what one of the articles refers to as the Wakanda trap.
In a way, yes, it's a great term for it. If you look at social media, especially around December, you see festivals like Afrochella, which is now called Afrofuture due to some trademark issues, but same idea.
Right.
You see luxury beach club, incredible fashion, beautiful people, parties that go until sunrise. It looks seamless. It looks futuristic. It looks like a movie set where everyone is royalty.
But the physical reality of Accra isn't a Marvel movie.
No, and this is so important to visualize. Accra is a low-rise, concrete city. It is hot, viscerally hot. It is humid. It is loud. And it is under constant, chaotic construction.
So if you arrive expecting this polished, futuristic utopia...
The open drains in neighborhoods like Osu are going to be a shock.
Can we talk about those open drains for a second?
Yeah.
Because that's a detail that doesn't make it to the slick promo videos, but it's unavoidable when you're actually there.
It's a major infrastructure feature or, a challenge, depending on how you see it. In many parts of the city, the sewage and runoff channels are these open concrete ditches lining the road.
It's open.
Totally open. They're about a foot or two deep. You have to physically step over them to get into a shop, a restaurant, or sometimes even your guest house.
That seems hazardous. I feel like I'd fall in within 5 minutes.
It demands your full attention. You can't be walking around looking at your phone. It's just a reality of the urban planning there. But for a Western tourist used to underground sewage systems, it's a jarring visual and sometimes olfactory reminder that you are in a developing nation.
It punctures that Wakanda bubble very, very quickly.
Instantly.
And that brings us to a really interesting point from the sources about the definition of luxury. Because in the West, luxury is about excess. It might mean 1,000 thread count sheets or gold leaf on your dessert or a concierge who knows your dog's name.
Right. It's about opulence.
But in Ghana, the functional definition of luxury is very, very different.
In this context, luxury is about infrastructure reliability. It is strictly functional. Luxury means the air conditioning works and is silent. Luxury means the water pressure in the shower is consistent and the water is actually hot.
That seems like a pretty low bar for luxury.
It is, but most importantly, luxury means that when the power cuts out, which happens often, the backup generator kicks in automatically and instantly.
There's a specific term for this power situation everyone uses, right? I kept seeing it in the notes.
Yes, dumsar. It's from the Ekan language, translating roughly to lights off, lights on. It has been a massive political and social issue for a decade. It dictates life.
So when you see a hotel charging, say, $300 to $400 a night,
You are not paying for opulence in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
You are paying for the guarantee that you won't be sitting in the dark sweating when the national grid fails at 4 in the afternoon.
that sets the stage perfectly. You're not paying for luxury. You're paying for an infrastructure bubble. You're paying to insulate yourself from the city's friction.
Exactly. You're paying for predictability.
So let's simulate the trip. Let's put the listener in the shoes of the traveler. You booked your ticket, you've flown across the Atlantic, maybe an overnight flight from the East Coast, and you land at Kotoka International Airport. What's the vibe?
Terminal 3 is surprisingly modern. It opened fairly recently. If you've flown into other African hubs that might be a bit older or more chaotic, Kotoka feels very sleek. It has a mid-tier European feel to it. It's clean, the AC is humming, the signage is clear. You grab your bags, you get through immigration, and you think, okay, this is easy, I can handle this.
But then the doors open.
The sensory wall.
Yeah.
That is the only way to describe it. The moments those automatic glass doors slide open and you step onto the curb to find a car, you are hit by a physical weight.
A weight.
The humidity is heavy, almost like a wet blanket is being thrown over your shoulders. It just sits on you. And there is a very, very specific smell.
What does it smell like? I'm curious.
Our sources describe it as a mix of burning wood, red earth, and diesel exhaust. It's the smell of the tropics, but with this gritty urban edge. It's not unpleasant necessarily, but it is intense. It signals immediately that you are somewhere else.
That sounds intense. A total sensory immersion from second one.
It is. And immediately after that sensory hit, while you're still trying to adjust to the heat, you face the gauntlet of hospitality.
This is the taxi union.
It is. And this is where a lot of first-timers get completely overwhelmed. You have dozens of men shouting, "Aquava!" which means welcome.
Which is nice.
It is nice. But they are also trying to grab your bags and get you into their car. They're very insistent. They will grab the handle of your suitcase.
Is it dangerous? I feel like in many travel guides, men grabbing your bags is a red alert for a mugging.
The sources are very clear on this. It is aggressive, but generally not dangerous. It's a sales pitch, not a robbery. These guys are working. They're trying to secure a fare in a super competitive environment.
Okay.
But, and this is the key, they will try to triple the price on you because they know you just landed, you're disoriented, you don't know the exchange rate yet, you're a walking target.
So what's the move? How do we survive the gauntlet without getting ripped off or stressed out in the first 5 minutes of the trip?
The expert tip here is preparation. Do not land without a plan. The absolute best move is to prearrange a hotel pickup.
So someone is just waiting for you.
Someone is standing there holding a sign with your name. You just lock eyes, you nod, and you follow them. It cuts through the chaos like a knife.
And if you didn't do that,
Yeah.
if you just showed up, like many people do,
Connect to the airport Wi-Fi immediately before you exit the terminal and order an Uber or a Bolt.
so you bypass the haggling entirely.
Smart. Exactly. You walk past the shouting men, you say a polite but firm, "No thank you, I have a ride," and you find the rideshare pickup point. You save yourself the stress and probably 60% of the cost.
Okay, so we're in the car, we've survived the gauntlet, we're driving into Accra. How does it compare to other major African cities? Is it total chaos?
It's interesting. If you compare it to, say, Lagos in Nigeria or Cairo in Egypt, which are famous for their gridlock and aggression.
Right, legendary traffic.
Accra is energetic, but it flows better. It's not quite as manic. It feels a bit more manageable. But the soundscape is immediate. You'll hear Afro beats thumping from the cars around you, lots of honking and street hawkers selling plantain chips, water, and phone credit right up to your window.
But then you hit the go slow.
The traffic. This is a defining feature of the city. A drive to Osu, which is a popular neighborhood for restaurants and nightlife, might look like a 15-minute trip on a map without traffic.
And in reality?
In reality, it can take 45 minutes to an hour, easily.
Why is it so bad? I mean, what's the cause?
It's a combination of infrastructure capacity and rapid urbanization. The city has just grown way faster than the roads. And during rush hour, or if there is road work, or, and this is a big one, if it rains, rain stops everything, you just sit there. You're not moving.
And this leads us to one of the biggest psychological adjustments a traveler has to make. Ghana man time.
This is crucial. If you come from a culture, say New York, London, Berlin, where 10:00 a.m. means 10:00 a.m., you are going to struggle.
So time is flexible.
In Ghana, time is fluid. It is relational. It's not an absolute.
Give me a concrete example of how this plays out for a tourist.
Okay, let's say you go to a restaurant. You sit down, you order. In the West, you expect that food in 15, maybe 20 minutes. In Accra, a dinner order might take an hour to arrive at your table, maybe longer.
An hour. For a meal.
Easily, and nobody else in the restaurant will look stressed about it. The staff won't be rushing. It's just the pace.
Yeah.
Or let's say you schedule a meeting or a tour for the morning. The guide says, "We leave at 9 a.m. That van might not pull up until 10:30. And it's not considered rude. It's just how it is.
I can see a Type A planner hyperventilating right now. I'm getting anxious just hearing about it.
And that's the risk. If you try to fight the city's pace, if you sit there checking your watch, huffing and puffing and getting angry, you will ruin your trip. You'll spend the entire vacation with high blood pressure.
What do?
You have to surrender control. You have to accept that things will happen when they happen. It's a psychological shift from efficiency to presence.
That's a great way to put it. You're there to be present, not to be efficient.
Exactly. You catch up on emails on your phone, you talk to the person next to you, you just wait. The food will come, the van will arrive, eventually.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The wallet. We teased the cost shock earlier, but let's really unpack the financials, because I think there is a pervasive myth that West Africa is a budget destination.
That is the budget destination myth, and it causes so much disappointment. People assume because the average income in the country is lower than in the West, that prices for tourists will be comparable to Southeast Asia or parts of South America.
The whole living like a king for $50 a day idea.
Exactly that idea.
But the data says otherwise.
The data says Accra is explicitly expensive. In fact, for the amenities a tourist wants and expects, it's one of the most expensive cities in Africa. Let's look at the accommodation breakdown.
Okay, hit me with the high end. What's top of line?
If you want Western standards, reliable AC, visible security, a pool scene, and international buffet, you are looking at the big names, the Kempinski or the Movenpick. These are the landmarks.
And the price.
You are paying $350 to $500 a night.
That is London or New York pricing. That is serious money.
It is. And again, you aren't paying for gold faucets. You are paying for the fact that they have to import almost all their consumables, from cheese to wine to spare parts for the elevator, and they have to run massive industrial generators 24/7. That diesel costs a fortune.
Okay, so that's out of budget for many people.
Right.
What about mid-range?
Mid-range is where many people aim, but it's still pricey. We're talking about boutique hotels in neighborhoods like Osu or Lebon. That's going to run you $120 to $180 a night.
And for that, you get
a nice room, usually a generator, but maybe not the massive pool complex or the 24-hour room service. It's comfortable, but not opulent.
What about Airbnb? That's usually the hack for budget travel in those cities.
In Ghana, Airbnb can be a massive trap. You might see a listing for $60 or $80 that looks great in the photos.
Yeah.
Modern furniture, nice paint, cool art.
I've seen them. They look great.
But the listing won't always tell you about the utility situation.
You mean the water and power?
Exactly. Does that apartment complex have a backup water tank? Does it have its own generator? If the city water shuts off, which it does, and they don't have a tank, you have no water. Not for a shower, not to flush the toilet.
Oh, wow. So you could end up in a nice-looking apartment that's effectively camping?
One of the sources calls it camping indoors, and that's exactly what it is. Unless you can verify those utilities with the host beforehand, it's a huge gamble. You might save money, but you might end up hauling buckets of water up 3 flights of stairs.
Let's talk about food. You mentioned the jollof rice index in the notes, which I love.
This is a great economic indicator. You can buy jollof rice, the staple dish, spicy rice with tomato and onion, maybe some chicken or fish on the street from a vendor for about 20 to 50 cedis. That's roughly $2 to $3 US.
Okay, sounds good.
It's spicy, it's authentic, it's delicious. Now, if you buy that same plate of rice at a high-end hotel or a fancy restaurant,
How much?
it can cost $25.
Is it better rice? Is it made with, I don't know, organic imported tomatoes?
It is usually the exact same rice. Sometimes the street version is actually better because it has that smoky flavor from being cooked over firewood. At the hotel, you are paying for the air conditioning, the tablecloth, and the uniformed staff. You are paying for the context, not the content.
So where is the value? If I want to save money, what do I eat?
Street food, but you have to know what to order. Things like kelewele, which is spicy fried plantain. It's like candy but savory. Red, which is a bean stew with fried plantain. Waki, which is rice and beans cooked with sorghum leaves. If you eat these, you can have a full, delicious meal for $2 to $4.
Is it safe? That's always the concern.
The rule of thumb for safety is heat. If it's piping hot, literally coming out of the boiling oil or the steaming pot, it's generally safe. The heat kills the bacteria.
And what do you avoid?
Avoid the cold salads or pre-cut fruit on the street because you don't know what water was used to wash them or how long they've been sitting out. Stick to things that are cooked right in front of you.
But on the flip side of the $3 lunch, you have the Instagram dining scene.
Right. Places like Sandbox, Front Back, or Santoku, these places cater to the elite, to expats, and to wealthy diaspora visitors. They charge Miami prices.
So we're talking.
$20 cocktails, $40 entrees. It's a status symbol. If you go there, expect to pay heavily for the vibe. The food is often good, but you are paying for the crowd and the interior design.
What about getting around? We mentioned Ubers earlier.
This is actually the financial bright spot. Uber and Bolt are the best value in the country. A 20-minute ride across Accra might cost you $3 to $5.
That is incredibly cheap.
It is. It's one of the few things that is significantly cheaper than in the West. It makes getting around the city very manageable.
What about the famous Trotros, the minibuses?
The Trotros are those battered vans you see everywhere, usually with a religious slogan painted on the back window like, "God's time is best," or "No weapon formed against me." They cost pennies. Literally.
Should a tourist use them?
They are strictly for the adventurous backpacker. I mean, truly adventurous. They are cramped. There is absolutely no AC. The rides are confusing. There's no map. You just have to know where they go, and they are packed. tight, thigh to thigh with strangers.
So if you're on a heritage trip with your parents,
Skip the trotro, definitely. Do not put your mother in a trotro unless she specifically asks for that authentic, sweaty adventure. In fact, if you are doing a heritage trip to the coast to see the castles at Cape Coast or Elmina, you probably need a private driver.
how much does that run?
Expect to pay somewhere between $100 to $150 a day. That includes the SUV, the fuel, and the driver's fee and time.
That's a big chunk of a daily budget.
It sounds steep compared to a $3 Uber, but given the road conditions, the long distances, and the navigation challenges, it is essential for safety and sanity. You have a dedicated person to handle the potholes and the police checkpoints. It's worth it.
And one final note on costs, the seasonal markup.
Deady December, that's what they call the holiday season. From about mid-December to early January, it's a month-long party. And the prices for accommodation literally double. A hotel that's $150 in October will be $300 in December.
No exaggeration.
No exaggeration. If you go in December, you are paying a massive premium on everything. Flights, hotels, even event tickets.
Okay, so we know what it costs. Now let's talk about how to actually plan it. The source outlines some logistics traps that catch people out.
Trap number 1 is the visa vortex.
I love that name. It sounds ominous. What's the vortex?
Most Western passports, US, UK, EU, need a visa. But the embassy websites can be, let's call them vintage.
Not user-friendly.
Not user-friendly, not always up to date. The biggest mistake people make is relying on rumors they heard about visa on arrival.
I thought that was a thing. I've seen travel vloggers talk about it.
It is usually only a temporary concession made during December for the big events to encourage tourism. If you show up in July expecting a visa on arrival, there is a very, very high chance you will be turned around at the airport and put on the next plane back.
That would be a disastrous way to start a vacation.
A total disaster. So, apply early.
How early?
At least 2 months out. Or use a visa service that can navigate the bureaucracy for you. And there is one crucial requirement you cannot, under any circumstances, skip: the yellow fever card.
No card, no entry.
0 exceptions. You need that little yellow card proving you've had the vaccine. They check it before they even look at your passport. If you don't have it, they will inoculate you right there at the airport for a hefty fee, which is not how you want to start your trip.
Okay, trap number 2, the cash crisis. I'm so used to traveling with just my phone and tapping to pay for everything.
That will not work here.
Yeah.
Ghana is a cash economy for the most part. Cards, and specifically American Express, are often useless outside of the major international hotels. You need cash for taxis, for street food, for markets, for tips.
And the currency is the cedi.
Right. And inflation makes the pricing volatile. But here's the specific trap that gets everyone: the quality of the U.S. bills you bring to exchange.
The crisp bill rule. This one fascinated me. It feels like a secret code.
It's so specific and so important. You need to bring high denomination bills, $50 or $100. You get a better rate for them. But they must be the blue ones, printed after 2013. And they must be crisp.
Define crisp.
I mean fresh from the bank.
Cool.
No small tears, no ink marks, no heavy creases. If you have a bill that has been in your wallet for 3 months and is soft and worn, they will reject it.
Wait, really? If I have a crumpled $20 bill, they won't take it.
The Forex Bureau might refuse it entirely, or they'll give you a terrible exchange rate for it. It sounds crazy, but the banks in Ghana are very strict about accepting damaged or old foreign notes, so the street changers pass that strictness on to you. I've seen people arguing at the window because their bill had a tiny ink stamp on the corner.
That is a pro tip if I ever heard one. Go to the bank before your flight.
And another tip: change your money at a Forex Bureau in the city, like in Osu. The rates at the airport are much worse. Get just enough at the airport to pay for your SIM card and your ride into town, then change the rest the next day.
Okay. Trap number 3, the day trip delusion. This one feels personal to me because I always underestimate travel times on a map.
Everyone does. You look at Google Maps and see Cape Coast is about 90 miles from Okra. You think, oh, that's an hour and a half. I'll drive down for the morning, see the castle, have lunch, and be back for dinner.
Why doesn't that work?
Road conditions and checkpoints. That 90 miles takes 3 to 4 hours one way. It's largely a single-lane highway. If there's a slow truck in front of you, you're stuck. If there's an accident, it could be 5 hours. If you try to do that in a day, you are spending 8 to 10 hours in a car to spend 1 hour at a historical site. It's miserable.
So stay overnight.
You must. Do not rush history. Book a hotel in Elmina or Cape Coast. Wake up there, see the castle in the morning mist before the tour buses arrive. It's a much more profound and enjoyable experience.
Let's touch on connectivity. I need my data. I need to post my stories.
MTN is the carrier you want. It has the best coverage across the country. Now, you can buy a SIM card in the city, but it requires biometric registration, which involves long queues at the telecom office. It can take half a day.
So take the hit at the airport.
Yes. There's a markup of about $5, but just buy the SIM in the airport arrival hall. They will register it for you right there in 10 minutes. It saves you hours of hassle later, worth every penny.
And power.
Bring a Type G adapter, that's the UK style, with the 3 rectangular pins. And a power bank is non-negotiable because of the power cuts we mentioned. You do not want your phone dying at 3 p.m. when you're trying to call an Uber and the restaurant's power is out.
Let's shift gears to something a bit more serious. Safety, health, and social comfort. There's a lot of fear-mongering about traveling to Africa in general. What's the reality for Ghana?
The reality is that violent crime against tourists is very rare. In fact, many travelers in our source material report feeling safer walking around Accra at night than they do in parts of London or New York.
That's a strong statement.
It's supported by the data and anecdotal evidence. The risk isn't usually violence, it's opportunistic, petty crime.
Like phone snatching.
Exactly. The classic scenario. You are in an Uber, stuck in traffic, you have the window rolled down because the AC is weak, you are checking Instagram, a guy on a motorbike zooms by, snatches the phone right out of your hand, and disappears into the traffic. It happens in seconds.
So, basic city smarts. Keep the windows up.
Windows up, doors locked, common sense city rules, don't flash expensive jewelry, or walk around with a big camera hanging around your neck in a crowded market.
What about harassment? Specifically for women travelers.
The sources describe it as annoying rather than threatening.
Yep.
You will get catcalled. You will get marriage proposals from random guys on the street. You will be called sista or obroni constantly.
How should one react to that?
It requires a thick skin. The best advice is to ignore it or laugh it off. It rarely escalates to anything dangerous. It's just noise, part of the urban soundscape.
Now, health. This is logistics, not fear. What are the non-negotiables?
Malaria is endemic. It is serious. You cannot skip the prophylaxis Malarone or doxycycline, whatever your doctor prescribes. And you need bug spray with DE, especially at dusk and dawn. If you get a fever while you're there, you need to get tested for malaria immediately.
And water.
Do not drink the tap water, period. Do not even brush your teeth with it.
So you're buying bottled water for everything.
Or pure water sachets. You'll see them everywhere, these little plastic bags of filtered water. They cost pennies, they are sealed, and they are the standard way people drink water on the go. You bite the corner off and drink it. It's a quintessential Ghana experience.
We need to talk about identity. This is a heritage flight deep dive after all. For the diaspora traveler, there is a specific emotional safety component here that's really complex.
It's a very complex dynamic. You are coming home, you expect this warm, unconditional embrace, and you do get it. The Akwapa welcome is everywhere and it's genuine. But you are also simultaneously viewed as an obroni.
Does brony just mean white person?
Originally, yes. But functionally now, it means foreigner, or more accurately, person with dollars. So a Black American traveler might be shocked and even hurt to be called a brony by a local kid or a market seller.
That's got to be jarring. You come all this way to connect with your blackness, and you're labeled a foreigner.
It creates this disorienting mix of belonging and alienation. You are welcomed, but you are also seen as a walking ATM. The local economy often sees your privilege before it sees your shared ancestry. And that can be a hard emotional landing for someone coming to connect with their roots. You are family, but you are also a customer.
And on that note of social reality, we have to address the situation for LGBTQ+ travelers.
This is a critical safety warning. Ghana has very strict anti-LGBTQ laws and strong anti-LGBTQ sentiment socially. This isn't an opinion, it's a fact on the ground.
So this is not the place for public displays of affection.
Not at all. Even for straight couples, PDA is rare and can be frowned upon. But for queer travelers, discretion is an absolute safety requirement. You cannot live your truth openly on the street here. You can visit, you can enjoy the culture, but you have to be fully aware of the legal and social landscape.
So what does that mean in practice?
It means being vigilant about your digital footprint, who you talk to, and your public behavior. It is not San Francisco or Berlin. Safety has to be the #1 priority.
That's a very sober but necessary reality check. Yep. Let's pivot to the experience itself. What are the high points? What makes all this logistical friction, all this cost, worth it? Because people keep going back.
They do. And the emotional high, the absolute peak for most, is undeniably Elmina Castle.
This is one of the main slave forts on the coast.
Yes. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the source emphasizes the visceral nature of it. You are not just reading a plaque in a museum, you are standing in the female dungeon, which is damp and dark, smelling the centuries-old stone. And then you walk directly above it to the governor's quarters, which are light, airy, with these beautiful, breezy ocean views.
The architecture of cruelty laid bare.
Exactly. It hits you physically. It's an embodied experience of history. Travelers often break down in tears. It changes you. That is the core of the heritage experience. It connects the dots of history in a way a book or a film never, ever could.
On a more sensory level, there's Makola Market in Accra.
This is chaos in the best way. It's pure sensory overload. Women carrying 50 pounds of yams on their heads, the noise of thousands of people bargaining, the vivid colors of the fabrics and spices. It is the absolute beating heart of the city's commerce.
And there's an efficiency hack there, right? A cool thing to do.
Yes, the custom clothing hack. You can buy incredible wax print fabric at the market for very cheap. Then you take it to a tailor in a neighborhood like Osu.
How fast can they turn it around?
This is the amazing part. Often in 48 hours, you can have a custom-fitted suit or dress made for about $60 to $80, including the fabric.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's fast fashion, but it's ethical and completely custom to your body. It's one of the best souvenirs you can possibly get.
That's amazing. Now, to be balanced, what are the disappointments? What do people hype up that kind of falls flat when you get there?
The beaches in Accra, proper. People hear West Africa and they think Caribbean beaches. Labadi Beach is famous. It's a vibe with horses on the sand and parties, but it's dirty. There's trash in the sand. The water isn't particularly clean.
So if you want that pristine, white sand, turquoise water beach vacation,
you have to drive 2 or 3 hours west to places like Busua or Lumun. Do not expect that experience in the city itself.
and the other common disappointment.
Service culture. This links back to Ghana man time. Waiters may not respond to eye contact. You might wave and they'll see you, and then walk away to do something else first. It's not malicious, it's just a different priority system. It's not the customer's always right culture.
So what's the advice there to avoid frustration?
Be proactive and be direct. If you are hungry, order immediately. Do not wait for a menu, do not wait for a drink, get the food order in, and lower your expectations for service with a smile. They are there to do a job, not necessarily to perform for you.
That's great practical advice. Now, before we get to the verdict, let's look at alternatives. If someone is listening to this and thinking this sounds a bit too chaotic for me, or maybe I've already done Ghana, where else should they look?
Option 1 is Senegal.
How does it compare?
Culturally, some would argue it's even richer in arts and music. Dakar is incredibly stylish, a real hub for fashion and creativity. And Gorée Island offers a very similar and equally powerful historical experience to Elmina regarding the slave trade.
But there's a barrier.
Language. It's Francophone. If you don't speak French or Wolof, it is significantly harder to navigate independently than Ghana. Ghana's widespread English proficiency makes it much, much easier for Americans and Brits.
Okay. Option 2, Rwanda.
This is the anti-Ghana. Kigali is spotless. There is no trash on the streets. Traffic rules are obeyed. People stop at red lights. It is incredibly safe and organized.
Sounds perfect. What's the catch?
The trade-off is the soul. It can feel a bit sterile compared to the chaotic, sweaty, vibrant energy of West Africa, and it lacks that direct transatlantic slave trade connection that the heritage traveler is often specifically looking for.
What about a combo trip?
If you have the time, the source suggests Ghana plus Togo.
Togo's right next door, isn't it?
Yes. Lome, the capital, is just a 4-hour drive from Accra. It's cheaper, the food has a strong French influence, so you get much better bread and pastries, and it offers a fascinating colonial contrast. It's a great way to see 2 very different sides of West Africa in one trip.
Okay, let's bring it home. The verdict matrix. We're going to break this down by traveler type. Is the Ghana heritage flight worth it?
Let's start with the backpacker.
The adventurer on a shoestring budget.
Verdict. Qualified. Yes. It is hard. It is not cheap compared to Asia. But if you stick to the coast, places like Busua, and you are brave enough to ride the trotros, it is a deeply rewarding adventure. You will meet incredible people. But bring more money than you think you need.
The mid-range couple.
Verdict. Yes. A strong yes. This is the target demographic. If you can afford the $150 a night hotel, the Ubers, and the occasional private driver, you can mitigate the misery. You get the culture without the struggle. You can retreat to the AC when the city gets too loud.
A family with young kids.
Verdict. Yes, but with a massive caveat. You need to hire help. You cannot push a stroller through Accra. There are no sidewalks in many places, just rubble and sand. You absolutely need a private driver and a hotel with a pool. Do not wing it with toddlers. It's not that kind of trip.
And finally, the luxury traveler. The person who wants five-star perfection and expects it.
Verdict. And no.
A hard no.
A hard no. If you are seeking polish and seamless service, go to South Africa or Mauritius. In Ghana, even at the top end, you will encounter service lapses and maintenance issues. You will end up paying 5-star prices for what feels like 3-star service. If you are there for the thread count and the perfect turn-down service, you will be annoyed.
So go for the culture, not the comfort.
That's the mantra.
That is a powerful distinction. So the overall summary.
Ghana is the gateway. It is logistically frustrating, it is surprisingly expensive, but it is deeply, deeply moving. If you can handle the friction, the magic is absolutely there.
Final logistics check. When do we go?
If you want the party, the festivals, and you have the cash to burn, go in December. If you want sanity, lower prices, and a more relaxed, authentic interaction with locals, go in March or October.
And the final word of advice.
Go home, book the ticket, but bring your yellow fever card, bring your crisp cash, and lower your expectations for speed.
The friction is part of the experience. You don't just visit Ghana, you surrender to it.
Perfectly said.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you on the next one.
Safe travels.